Hey, friends and family, how we doing? Today is May 29th, and we are 3 weeks post-op on my esophagectomy. It was 3 weeks ago yesterday that I had it. It was an interesting day. I needed to be there at 5, so we were there bright and early at 5 o'clock. Surgery started at 7, and I think they rolled me out of there around 3 o'clock, something like that, and to go to ICU. So it was a long day. The surgery went well, and the surgeon did a really good job. He went in there and got what he said he was going to get. They ran a pathology report on all the samples they took out of me, and none came back with any living cancer cells. So I am cancer free right now, and we're going to stay that way. Thanks to the good Lord. So just to back up a little bit, we went through all the pre-surgery appointments. Everything went well there. There was no problems. I want to be honest with you, I did the day before the surgery. I was feeling pretty good, and I was out working on my yard, sitting on the tractor, just kind of playing green acres. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I didn't have the surgery, how long I could live. And I felt that I don't believe God put those thoughts in my head. I believe those were put there by Satan and my own fear. And because I'll be honest with you, I was not looking forward to the surgery. I wouldn't say I was in fear, but I was certainly not comfortable with what I knew was going to have to happen with the recovery. And the recovery has been as difficult as they said it would be, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I had all my my pre-surgery appointments. Everybody was happy with the shape I was in, so it was full speed ahead, and we did it. So after surgery on the 7th, I was in the ICU, I think, for 3 days, and then went up to the normal floor, and then I was released within the time frame that we talked about. I came home on the I think it was Friday the 16th, and the only reason I was there that long is because one of the things they needed to do with me on the surgery was deflate my right lung in order to have room to get back in there and work and do what they needed to do. And so they did that, and there was some after effects to that. I did get pneumonia in that lung, and I got a little bit of coughing, RSV, and so it added a couple days, and then while we were in there, we started working on the and that's, by the way, that's the reason I'm wearing the oxygen right now, is because my lung is not performing the way that it should, and so we're keeping me on oxygen for a while just to see if it'll get back to somewhat normal place, and I can get rid of the oxygen. But for now, I'm going to be on oxygen. 2 reasons I am. Number one is that lung, but number two is I also do a CPAP machine at night, and I sleep very well with that CPAP machine. But because of the nature of the surgery and the fact that quite a bit of my stomach and my esophagus was removed completely and sewn back together and repositioned and so on and so forth, those of you that wear a CPAP know that the outward pressure can be significant sometimes if you're not helping it along. And they didn't want to put me in a position where that pressure would build up and possibly rupture the sutures. So no CPAP. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to use a CPAP again. We're not to that point yet. We're not to the forever point. And so that's why I'm wearing the oxygen. The recovery went pretty well in the hospital, no problems. The nurses at Mercy Hospital are just outstanding. They understand the oncology patients. They understand that what needs to be done to make them comfortable. You don't have to explain to them every time that, something comes up is a little bit different. And so, I'm very pleased with how that turned out. My understanding is that the surgeon is very proactive in choosing the nurseries that work the oncology floor. And he's pretty much a stickler for a certain criteria that he's kind of developed as far as dealing with oncology patients. So that turned out to be a pretty good experience, which we needed that kind of a nurse because I'll be honest, there were moments in time when I did not want to be there, and I just had this periods of time where I was not getting why I was there. I wasn't as user friendly as they say that some other patients could be, and to the point to where I actually ended up apologizing to one of the nurses, just because between my anxiety and the the amount of drugs they were giving me for pain and so on and so forth, I was not a good boy. So that just lasted just one night, and so I apologized, and we hopefully can move on from there. But all in all, they were all good nurses, and I'm very pleased to have had them on my side working for me. As the week went on, they put me on tube feedings. While I was in surgery, I did have a J tube inserted. A J tube is the one that used for a feeding line that goes straight into your smaller intestine, and they went ahead and inserted that while I was in surgery so that we'd be ready to go. I think on maybe Wednesday, I started, the following Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe the following Saturday or Sunday, they started me on tube feedings, and which was a challenge of its own. I've got some separate GI issues, and the tube feedings, all they did was just add to it and cause a few more problems. So went ahead and worked through those problems. It took a few nights, and but we managed to get it under control. Dee Dee insisted that I stay another 2 days with the hospital until we could get it more under control. But we have. The last 4 or 5 days have been pretty good days. And I'll be probably on the feed tube. I talked to the dietitian today and my medical oncologist, and we're looking at, maybe starting in about 30 days, looking at figuring out how to wean me off of the feed pump. And so I'll be excited about that and looking forward to it. But as things go right now, I use the feed pump from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every single day. That's where I get 99% of my nutrition right now. I'm learning how to eat again. I'm learning what small portions look like. And until we get to a point to where I can eat small portions and not lose a bunch of weight, we'll be on the feed pump. So please keep me in your prayers for that, because I don't like the feed pump. Anybody that's been on one knows it's an intrusion, and it disrupts your entire day. And so keep me in your prayers on that, because that's something that I'm having trouble, kind of settling down to. What else? I'm staying at my son's house. Up there where we live on the farm is A, too far away from the hospital, and B, if something were to need to happen and I needed to get out to my storm shelter or somewhere along those lines, we all decided that I would be a liability for someone, and that it was not a good thing to do. So that's basically why I'm staying at my son's house right now, and we'll be here until everyone's comfortable that I can navigate the farm and be okay. It's been a rough 3 weeks since the surgery, and it's a very aggressive surgery, and you're left with the task of trying to figure out how to live with what's left of the surgery. And those of you that have been through this or are fixing to go through it, I'm not going to lie to you. I want you to know that, my prayers are with you, because once the decision is made to have the surgery, then this surgery is tough. And but it's proven to be the number one best way to get rid of so you have complete cure from the cancer. And you have to keep chasing it. And didn't want to chase it, because that's I had the same attitude when I had prostate cancer, that we're just going to go in there and take it out instead of chasing it with chemo and radiation and all that. The chemo and radiation that I took for the esophageal cancer, it was part of the curriculum, or the part of the process that I needed to go through to be able to get me to where I was. And so once we finished those two things, the radiation and the chemo, they pretty much showed no cancer activity, but because of the strength of the radiation, and because of the fact that we did not want it to come back under any circumstance, we elected to do the surgery on top of it, which gave me the best odds of getting this thing taken care of. I want you to know that after they got me in there and they cut me open, they took out the part of the stomach and part of the esophagus and lymph nodes and whatever else they wanted to take out to think they got clear of the margins, and they sent it in that morning while they were doing other things, prepping me for the rest of the surgery. And that pathology report came back 0 negative, NED, no evident disease, and cancer-free. So praise the Lord on that. That was what we were all in this for to start with. And, so the docs did a great job making sure that they did what they needed to do, but not too much, or any more than they needed to do. And it happened. Pardon my cough, and that right lung is still giving me some trouble. But so they let me know that was just outstanding. I mean, it was remarkable. We knew right then God's hand was in it, and we knew all along God's hand was in it. But we knew that this was, this was His handwriting. And so then, as the process continued on with the healing, I don't want to go into a lot of negative details, but I'm going to tell you this: if you are considering this surgery, do some research. Talk to people, if you can, that have had it, so that you go in there and understand exactly what it's all about. And don't be afraid to ask people for advice. Ask for their experiences, and I think you'll find that even though it's a very hard surgery, that you can do it. God can get you through this one too. And I know several people that have made it through, and I'm 100% confident that I'm going to make it through. I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to make it the surgery, because the surgery is very difficult. And but once I woke up down in ICU and tried to figure out why it was, and they got the ventilator tube out of my mouth, and it just started that recovery at that point in time. And the main focus was just that, was getting recovered, get those things out of me, and let's see what we got to do to get better. I'm so glad that I had so many people praying for me. I've got so many people sending me well wishes, and it does my heart good. It gets me a little bit emotional sometimes to know that people that maybe or maybe not you've really had a relationship with, you may have had an impact on, and they love you, and it just is overwhelming at times, the love that I've received from everybody. And it does my heart good. It kind of restores my faith in humanity, which sometimes I'm not real sure of. And so it's been good. I want to thank all the doctors that I've been working with. You know, they've been no sense guys, no nonsense guys, and they've always told me straight up what it was going to be like, and they've always told me straight up what I need to do, and so then it becomes my part, you know, my part to do my job, and they have done theirs up to this point, and so now it's my turn to do my job, and I'm still going to rely on the Lord to help me out in doing it, because it's a hard one, and so. You know, the next few steps I've got is to, you know, try to just kind of get rid of the residual pain that I've got where, you know, in my back where they took the rib out and all that. And then I need to, you know, work on my eating habits so that I can stay, basically learn how to be full and learn how to stay weight neutral on 4-ounce meals at a time, you know, 5 to 6 times a day. And it be valuable calories that go in, not just a bunch of junk, because that's what I felt like eating. So that's my next chore. That's what I'm dealing with right now, and so I'm going to check in with you time from time. I'll continue to do that, but I just want you to know that I love you all, and I appreciate all the prayers. I appreciate the people that stopped by and saw me, and you know, I just want you to know that I'm praying for you and your families, and that the Lord put blessings on your houses, because you have blessed me, and you know, I very much appreciate it. So from my son's guest room, which is now the Klutz Infirmary, I want to tell you goodbye. I want to tell you I love you, and that I hope all goes well. If for some reason you stumbled upon my page, my YouTube page, and don't you know, you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll get notified when I put out other videos. This is the 8th video in the series, so there's plenty for you to look at. I hope that you will go back and look, and just kind of, you know, take a look and see what this surgery is all about, and so that if you ever come upon it, or you have someone you know that needs this surgery or has esophageal cancer, you know, you can point them in my direction, and we can, you know, hopefully they can gain some inspiration, gain some faith, gain some knowledge, gain some patience and understanding about what's ahead, and everything will be good. So I love you. I want to thank you all again for sticking by me, and you know, I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye bye.